Chel-Lee walked slowly, doing her utmost to remain unheard. As she drew nearer, she beheld him seated upon a garden bench, looking most dejected. His head was bowed, and he repeatedly ran a weary hand through his hair. She frowned, for her heart felt tumultuous within her. She reminded herself she was doing what was right. A man who had seen fit to become engaged while she was away traveling with her family did not deserve the fierce reaction of her heart. Yet, before she could stop herself, she stepped toward him. It was some moments before the man finally raised his eyes. They were bloodshot, whether from weariness or tears she could not tell. She folded her arms, entirely unsure what to do, for she had not planned for him to see her. He blinked several times, as though attempting to assure himself she was real. Then he rose abruptly, towering over her with his tall and sturdy frame. Her heart raced. She had been in love with this man for 2 years, had courted him for 1. Yet fate seemed determined to set them upon separate paths. Suddenly his hand reached out and took hers. "You are truly here," he said, his voice hoarse. She resisted the powerful urge to fall into his embrace, resisted the desire to forget all she had planned, and instead pulled her hands away. "I heard you took the morning ship to an unknown kingdom. I have asked all day at the harbor and yet did not find you." "I set for sail on the morrow," she replied coolly. "Not that it is any of your concern, for I owe you no explanation for my departure. We have nothing to do with each other." She did her best to still the pain in her heart as she uttered these words. "Why then did you come?" he asked, pain evident in his voice. "Did you come to torment me more than you already have? To trample on my heart and gloat, because you already have me so in love with you? Or do you wish for me to grovel? For I assure you, it is not beneath me to do so if I can convince you to not cancel our engagement." He spoke in one breath, and she might have believed him had she not already been convinced of his betrayal. "How dare you make me out to be the villain when you plan to abandon me nonetheless? How dare you say such heartless words?" she cried, anger burning in her. Not only was she certain of his betrayal, but he acted so convincingly she nearly believed him sincere. Yet his eyes were filled only with confusion and a startling certainty. "My heart, what is this you speak of? Abandon you? Whatever gave you such a foolish notion? Surely you know I am incapable of purposefully separating from you. I did not even wish for you to go on this woeful trip from which you have just returned, especially since it has led you to break our engagement for some horrendous trip to discovery. You have trampled upon my heart so brutally. Yet you blame me for abandonment. Cease with the pretense. I already know you intend to wed Catherine and are intending to break our engagement. So I did it before you did," she said, exasperated. She awaited the guilty flash in his expression, but instead he stared at her as though she had grown 2 heads. "What on earth are you speaking about? Why in the world would I do that? If I intend to do as you say, then why would I have spent the past 2 weeks trying to win you back and ask to restore our engagement? To what end? It makes no sense," he said helplessly. She looked at him, at his beautiful brown eyes, at the familiar chiseled face she had thought of each day since sending him the letter to break their engagement. His response made far more sense than she wished to admit. "Perhaps because of your ego. You did not like that I was the one who broke the engagement, and I decided to shatter my already deflated ego by begging you to rethink your decision? I stood outside your doors calling for you despite all the onlookers," he said, taking a step toward her. Chel-Lee felt faint. His proximity, his helplessly beautiful eyes staring down at her with earnest expectation, all of it made her own words seem increasingly foolish. She had not considered why he had sought her so relentlessly, even after she ordered that he not be allowed inside. She remembered how he had stood at her door, then beneath her window, calling for her to reconsider, insisting their love could overcome whatever her reason might be. She had come to see him one last time, only because she had spent the previous night in prayer. It was the penultimate night before she was to depart to attend a school of law for women in a neighboring country, a prospect presented by her aunt during her month-long holiday. Passionate as she was for the study of law, she had declined because of him. Yet upon her return she had encountered Catherine and been given what she believed was undeniable evidence. Silently, she withdrew a red envelope from her pocket, the very thing that had shattered her heart and compelled her final decision. She felt strongly that the prayer she uttered had guided her here to confront him. "How do you explain this?" she asked, stepping back and handing him the envelope. He frowned, as though he did not recognize it, compelling her to speak. "Do not pretend like you do not recognize it. I know your handwriting anywhere, and your manner of writing as well. There is no doubt that you wrote the letter." He quietly opened the envelope, and a look of understanding dawned. "How did you get this?" he asked. "You acknowledge that you wrote it," she whispered, her last fragile hope diminishing. "Of course it is I who wrote it, but I do not see why this has caused you to choose to break our engagement. Do you dislike that I spoke so earnestly of my love?" he asked, more confused than ever. For a moment, Chel-Lee could make no sense of his reaction. How could he so boldly admit to writing such passionate declarations for another woman? "Unless you wrote this letter to Catherine, did you not?" she asked faintly, though his words and his expression already told her the truth. What a silly question to ask. It is clearly written, too. "My heart," he faltered, realizing what had happened. "Chel-Lee, my love, surely you did not believe. Why would you even contrive such a notion? It is you alone I have ever called by such a term of endearment. Why then did Catherine have this letter?" "She came to inform me of your intentions to be engaged to her and to break our engagement. She told me that your eyes have bewitched me and it is only wise to not see you again. That I break the engagement and return to wherever I had gone for the past month. I then decided to pursue my dreams." He frowned deeply. "It appears there is a rat amongst my servants," he said darkly. Then he softened. "My love, you must believe me. This was the letter I wrote to confess my love to you a long while ago. I instead chose to speak it aloud to you in person and had no need for it. I discarded the letter in a drawer and forgot about it. How could you believe Catherine? I shall admit it is a clever scheme to separate us, but my dearest, how could you so easily fall for it?" His gentle smile undid her completely. Tears streamed down her face. "Oh, dear George, what a fool I have been. It pains me to know that, had I not prayed yesterday, this scheme would have succeeded, for I was blinded by anger. I believed you intended to ruin my reputation, and had been all pretense. I have heard so many scandalous stories. Can you forgive me?" "Of course I forgive you, although it pains me that you think me capable of such wickedness. For propriety's sake, we have not had the chance to know one another as closely as I might wish, but surely you know I am an upright, godly man who wishes only to please God. I do not claim perfection, but I endeavor always to live by the Bible," he said, pain in his eyes. Her gentle sobs became something nearer to wailing, and he swiftly pulled her into an embrace, patting her back, heedless of the many servants who had gathered to watch, and the traitor who would surely report to Catherine. There, do not weep, my love. I shall not scold you. But there is one way I can prove my undying devotion to you. One foolproof method that even Catherine's schemes cannot overcome," he said softly. She lifted red, tearful eyes to him. "We must be wed before morrow," he declared. "Before the morrow?" she questioned in surprise. "Is it proper?" she asked in a hopeful whisper. "I do not care for what is proper, so long as both our families agree. I am certain our parents will rejoice to see us both out of our misery. Do you agree, my love? For you need only say the word, and it shall be done. I shall not risk a moment to lose you again. I tasted hell in those moments I thought you were gone." She looked up shyly and nodded. He smiled broadly, scooped her into his arms, and called for the carriage. As he had promised, both families and several kinsmen were assembled at the city chapel. At his request, the most exquisite gown was procured for her, and the finest wedding attire from the most renowned tailor for him. Chel-Lee marveled at how quickly everything was arranged. Even their closest friends were present, each looking as though they had hurriedly prepared for the occasion. News spread throughout the city, joy for most, sorrow for one in particular. She walked down the aisle on her father's arm, the exquisite purple gown glowing richly against her dark brown skin. Her curly hair was elegantly styled, with a tiara and veil adorning her head. She knew she looked as beautiful as she felt when she saw the adoration in George's eyes as they exchanged vows. For the umpteenth time, she gave thanks to God that she had listened during her prayer and gone to confront him, for she could have lost her beautiful forever otherwise.